Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte reacts strongly to Vice President Leni Robredo's remarks about the COVID-19 surge in Davao City. She says Monday, June 14, the remarks are an attack on her mayorship and the city's medical community. The presidential daughter took offense at Robredo's comments during her weekly radio show where she said Davao City can learn from the experience of Cebu City in bringing down COVID-19 transmissions. The vice president on Sunday made no mention of the mayor at all, though her co-host Ellie Saludar began the topic by saying Davao City has been referred to as a new epicenter of the country's outbreak. Octa Research Group says Davao City surpassed Quezon City in terms of average new daily cases in the first week of June. A majority of COVID-19 deaths in southern Mindanao were from Davao City. Meanwhile, Cebu City has been praised even by President Duterte's pandemic task force officials for significantly taming COVID-19 spikes. But rather than take Robredo's words as a suggestion, the younger Duterte took it as criticism. Duterte also accuses Robredo of politicking. She adds, "There will be a proper time to attack my performance as a local chief executive in this pandemic if she dares to run for president." The Davao City chief has yet to make any definite announcement on her plans to run for higher office in 2022. Robredo, meanwhile, is still undecided about 2022. In related news, potential presidential bet Senator Panfilo Lacson praises Robredo's good heart but says it is not enough to make a good president. Lacson, who ran on a crime-busting platform in previous elections, said Monday a president also needs toughness. The senator has declared his interest in the presidency. He also declared his preferred running mate, Senate President Tito Sotto. Meantime, in her weekly show, Robredo tells the opposition to refrain from thinking they are the only smart and competent ones in the country.
Yung sitwasyon na umiiral, parang siya yung nag-give rise sa ganitong klaseng political situation. Kailangan natin yung intindihin. Kailangan natin intindihin bakit ba marami yung attracted sa Pangulo, bakit ba maraming attracted sa ganitong klaseng mga politiko. Kailangan yun i-recognize. Hindi ka, Eli, pwede sabihin na tayo lang yung magaling. Tayo lang yung, alam mo yun, tayo lang yung matino. Hindi pwede yun.
This complements her statement on Saturday, June 12, where she called for unity among all opposition groups in 2022 in their goal to win against Duterte's chosen successor. The Zabayan Coalition defends its list of nominees to serve as the opposition's presidential and vice presidential candidates in the 2022 elections. It says Sunday, June 13, it had no expectations of firm decisions just yet from politicians who were named. The coalition says in a statement it will support its nominees' decision to weigh a possible presidential or vice presidential run for now. Some nominees turned down the coalition's nomination announced on Philippine Independence Day. 6 nominees were announced on June 12. They will undergo Zabayan selection process to become the opposition's picks for the 2022 elections. They are Vice President Leni Robredo, human rights lawyer and 2019 senatorial bet Chel Jokno, Senator Grace Poe, Batangas 6th District Representative and House Deputy Speaker Vilma Santos Recto, former Senator Sonny Trillanes, and Sibac Representative and House Deputy Speaker Eddie Villanueva. Of the 6, only Trillanes has so far announced his presidential bid, but he said he will give way if Robredo decides to run for the post. Robredo, seen as the leader of the Philippine opposition, earlier said she is keeping her options open for 2022. Minutes after the coalition announced its list, Poe said she had no plans to run for president again in 2022, while Recto also turned down the nomination. Both lawmakers said they wanted to focus on their legislative duties as the country responds to the COVID-19 pandemic. Jokno said he was honored to be considered by Zabayan but said he has not been aspiring to become the next president or vice president of the Philippines. Villanueva, meanwhile, echoed Robredo and Trillanes' call for unity in a recorded message played during the program. His son, Senator Joel Villanueva, said their family was not interested to mount a presidential bid. Aside from the 6 nominees, Senator Nancy Binay and Manila Mayor Isko Moreno were also considered for the list but both wrote letters to Zabayan asking that their names be removed. The following are Zabayan's criteria for its nominees. Former Foreign Secretary and Zabayan convener Albert Del Rosario earlier said there may be more additions to their list. The curfew in Metro Manila will be from midnight to 4 a.m. starting Tuesday, June 15. Metropolitan Manila Development Authority Chairman Benhur Abalos says Monday, June 14, all NCR mayors agreed to ease curfew hours. They cite the improving COVID-19 daily attack rate and hospital bed occupancy rate in the region.
Minabuti nila na luwagan in the sense na ang curfew ay i-adjust na ng 12 o'clock ng gabi. Ito'y magsisimula sa June 15, no? 12 o'clock ng gabi. This will give more time sa mga taong kakain sa restaurants, sa mga malls na magbukas, may travel time, at siguro makatulong ng gusto na sa ating ekonomiya.
Metro Manila has been under a 6-hour curfew from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. since May 1, when the region was under the much stricter modified enhanced community quarantine. Abalos's announcement comes as the current community quarantine classification in Metro Manila is set to expire on Tuesday. As of writing, the Pandemic Task Force and President Duterte are yet to announce new quarantine classifications. A sex-crazed monster in a learning module horrifies lawmakers on Monday, June 14, as they investigated errors in billions of pesos worth of student readings. The Aswang is often depicted as a winged monster in Filipino folklore, but a learning module on Philippine literature erroneously described it as a creature looking for sex at night. The module was used in February by grade 10 students aged around 15 years old in the public schools of Abalacat, Pampanga. It is one of the materials produced using the 15 billion peso budget for learning modules as the Philippines implements distance learning during the COVID-19 pandemic. Part of the learning module read, "The Aswang is a god, but it's believed to be a human being that eats other human beings. Many believe they have wings and are awake at night to find someone to have sex with or devour." Antonio Caliphogo, a teacher known for pushing for error-free textbooks, presents this learning material in a House panel hearing on Monday. Education Undersecretary Diosdado San Antonio says the mistakes were part of the errors submitted to them. He adds the division office in Pampanga has already acted on it and the module was recalled. Agusan del Norte 1st District Representative Lawrence Fortun asks why the mistake was able to pass through DepEd's vetting process.
Napaka-glaring po nung error, hindi lang siya error na nagkamali ng spelling o may issue sa editorial preference. Napakalayo ng definition. At bakit ganun yung language? At yung language na pumasok, wala namang karela-relasyon doon sa definition na gustong ibigay.
In response, Education Undersecretary Tonicito Umali says while DepEd has vetting procedures for publishing learning modules, some mistakes are still committed. In the 2021 national budget, the government allocated a total of 15 billion pesos for the printing of learning modules. U.S. President Joe Biden says Britain's Queen Elizabeth reminds him of his mother. He also says he asked about China's Xi Jinping and Russia's Vladimir Putin. The two heads of state had tea at Windsor Castle on Sunday, June 13. Biden and the 95-year-old British monarch had a private meeting after the Group of 7 Leaders Summit. The monarch, attired in a bright pink floral outfit, warmly greeted Biden and his wife Jill in the quadrangle of the castle. The Queen hosted a reception for leaders of the Group of 7 nations and their spouses last Friday night, June 11, in the southwestern English county of Cornwall. The Group of 7 is an informal group of 7 powerful democracies: Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, and the United States. The presidents of the European Commission and European Council also attend G7 meetings because several of Europe's largest countries are also members. In the summit, the leaders were trying to resolve differences over a proposal to reallocate $100 billion from the International Monetary Fund's war chest to help countries struggling to cope with the COVID-19 crisis. An almost final version of the G7 communique seen by Reuters showed Germany and Italy had yet to back the inclusion of the $100 billion figure in the final statement by leaders. Since April, the G7 countries were considering reallocating the amount to help poor countries fight the COVID-19 pandemic. Meantime, China on Sunday, June 13, cautions G7 leaders the days when small groups of countries decided the fate of the world was long gone. In a statement following the summit in Cornwall, it says, "We always believe that countries, big or small, strong or weak, poor or rich, are equals, and that world affairs should be handled through consultation by all countries."